everyone. Welcome to the last, but definitely not the least presentation of the first day of ProQuality Conference 2025. My name is Nikita and I'll be the host of the session. Please also give a warm welcome to other tech moderator Timur, who will be managing the tech stack through the presentation. So let's enable the full potential of web automation, a bridge between Cucumber and Playwright. We're gonna dive into how we can combine the clarity of a behavior-driven development with the performance of reliability of modern browser automation. I'm excited to introduce today's speaker, Oleksandr Halichenko. Hi, Oleksandr. Welcome to the ProQuality community. How are you today?
Hello, Nikita. Nice to be here. Um, good, good for today.
By the way, how do you find your way into automation testing?
Let's say so. I started my career as a manual tester, but at some point decided that need to grow as test automation because I truly believe that it's a future of testing and test automation in some form. Let's say.
Are you suggesting that we all gonna down this road as well?
I believe so, especially with generative AI that hype for for this year and previous one.
Thank you, thank you. Dear audience, feel free to ask any question via our YouTube chat during the session. We'll address the questions during the questions and answers part at the end. I also encourage you to rate our event and send badge to a speaker if you enjoy the talk on our WEA community platform. So without further ado, let's get started. Go ahead, Oleksandr, please.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and as Nikita said, so today's topic that I'm going to talk is like how to integrate Playwright and Cucumber with no trade-off. Yeah, but before we move into trade-offs, a couple words about me. So my name is Oleksandr. I'm solution architect in test automation with more than 10 years of professional experience in testing and test automation. So mostly I'm working with web UI test automation on scripting languages like TypeScript, JavaScript, because I firmly believe that scripting languages are the best fit for test automation, especially JavaScript, TypeScript for web-based automation, because shared same language between development, front-end development, and test automation. And I'd like to introduce two main actors of my presentation is Cucumber and Playwright. I do believe that most of you already familiar with both of them. However, still think it would be beneficial to repeat, to say it again. And Playwright is like spectacular test automation framework, a comparatively new one in the market. Aimed to test web-based application developed in Microsoft and basically provide um, experience of DevTools test automation, but extended not only for Chrome browser, but for Firefox and some kind of Safari-like WebKit. And Cucumber.js is implementation, JavaScript implementation of Cucumber framework, providing capability to write your test cases on Gherkin language, basically implementing behavior-driven approach and involve all other stakeholders on the project into testing, test automation activities with readable plain English test cases. And let's move to the integration part. So, and basically integration of Playwright and Cucumber is really trivial. So, and I do believe that many of you already did that. So how we usually do it, we define Cucumber world, starting Playwright inside, because Playwright also provides a way to behave like a library. So we can start Playwright, start a new context, start new page, and provide all of these entities to Cucumber world. So these cases we write in a Gherkin, creating some step definition where we use those Playwright properties and run our test cases through the Cucumber CLI. It works pretty much well. However, as we use Playwright as a library, it actually Playwright loses most powerful capabilities of itself. And what I mean, first capability is test runner, because as we use Cucumber as test runner, Playwright test runner become not available, especially its UI part, which is I think really convenient for local debugging, because out of the box provide um, many capabilities like taking runtime screenshots, taking network traces, taking page traces, which is actually nothing similar in the test automation currently we have. Also, we're not able to use custom fixtures and custom assertions, basically because both of them are extension of corresponding entities. Like fixtures is the extension of test runner of Playwright, and assertion is the extension of expect object of Playwright. We are really limited with ID integration. For instance, actually majority of JavaScript code currently written in Visual Studio Code, but if we're using Cucumber test runner, there is no support, for instance, to execute one test case. So Cucumber extension for Visual Studio Code only supports like navigating to step definition and step definition suggestions currently. But in turn, Playwright test runner provides this capability. And we a bit limited using traces video screenshots. It's still possible to use it with Cucumber test runner. However, it's harder to do, especially we have to implement it ourselves. So it's logic. So we can take trace, but we can do it basically manually. We need to create some support code to take it and attach to Cucumber report, for instance. And basically, all of these drawbacks, limitation, constraints were a driver for me to start this project. And aim of the project was to provide Cucumber-like development experience. So, and my assumption was that technically it is possible to translate, to map Cucumber entities. And entities, I mean like feature, scenario, step definition, hooks, there were two corresponding entities in Playwright. So, and in right side of the slide, you can see so my chain of thought, what I thought how to map it. So feature is barely test describe, scenario is a test, given when then is test step, hooks is hooks, whatever. And taking into account this mapping, I just need to implement basically steps that Cucumber does under the hood. And I have identified 4 of them. Like first is like parse and translate Cucumber features. And this is a simple one because luckily there is a official API in Cucumber package that provide the capability to read feature files and as a result get an array of test cases. We can say test plan. Then we need to build the Cucumber environment. And environment, it's means like step definition, hooks, world object, whatever. It's a bit more complex because there is no official API to do so. However, we still have access to source code of Cucumber, and basically this code is not so complex, can be some kind of reverse engineered. So in Cucumber, there's one object that's responsible for registering this support code, this environment. It's called support code library that can be imported from Cucumber package, then we just need to require our support code files where our step definition located. So, and after requiring it, they become available in this support code library that basically need to be uh, compiled. There's a special compile method in this object. And then we just need to go through this array of test cases and generate corresponding tests and steps in Playwright and map them to corresponding step definition. It is possible with the support code library, so we can identify step definition by actual step library. And last, we need to connect Playwright with Cucumber environment. And this I'm going to show on next slide. So this is how basically Playwright connected to Cucumber. And I decided not to reinvent the wheel and take usual experience that we're doing. It's just to connect it via Cucumber world. I have identified custom Playwright world with some set of properties that need to be defined. There is a default implementation, so you can use it as is, but in turn, you can also extend it and provide your own properties. And there is a three main properties that we can use. First is a test. Basically, it's a reference to Playwright test, actually extended test with custom fixtures. What we can see on the right side, I identify it like a fixtures and then provide it to test property. So next one, expect, works pretty much in same way. We just import in default expect, extend it with our custom expectations, and provide it as an expect property of our world. And the most important, it's init property. Basically, it's a main connector of our fixtures with our world properties. You may notice on the right side that this is a um, property function where we using object destructuring and importing some kind of fixtures. In our case, page and custom fixtures, and just assign it to corresponding properties. And after that, those properties become available in every step because Cucumber provide this context into every step definition. And at last, we just need to set world constructor with our extended world. So, and in this way, in our step definition, we can use those playwright fixtures. Okay. What I talked last 10 minutes, it a library available standalone called CoverJS Playwright Runner Adapter. But in turn, this library also a part of bigger, more complex framework, CoverJS, and especially new product in CoverJS ecosystem called CoverJS Playwright. So, and basically main aim of CoverJS is just to solve most of I would say boilerplate problems of test automation. So what I mean is just to, for instance, set commonly used step definition, solve task of page object, solve task of test data management, and all of this and many other stuff implemented out of the box in CoverJS. And basically CoverJS, due to that, allow you to start test automation barely in a minute. So comes with a lot of predefined step definition. So in this CoverJS product, it's like more than 100. And I would say it covers 90% of actions that we can do with browser in general. And as it works on top of Playwright, it automatically become enabled for Playwright ecosystem. So we can use any type of integration, like report portal, X-Ray, Zephyr, whatever. We can use all reporters that we have for Playwright plugins and so on. We automatically get support of various application types. At the beginning of presentation, I said that Playwright is a framework for web-based application, but web-based application not means like websites or web application. It also includes Electron application, for instance, or application built on top of WebView2. And in turn, as our test case language is Gherkin, pretty much plain English, it become enabled for generative AI generation. So we can basically generate our test cases based on some manual description, for instance. And especially as we have like predefined set of step definition, they also can be added to context and used in this generation. And that's all for theoretical parts. I also want to show two demos for today. First one is how to set up a framework with Cover.js Playwright Runner Adapter, basically for people who want to use more classic approach, building Cucumber-based framework. And the second one, how it is integrated with Cover.js, and basically how Cover.js looks like. So, okay, you can see my Visual Studio Code. So, and as you can see, it's absolutely empty project. So I will start from scratch. And starting from scratch, I just want to init Playwright, where usual command npm init Playwright. It will ask a couple of questions, answer them, and installed Playwright. So it's a still original Playwright. So I will modify this project, removing files that not needed here. For instance, this test case, these examples, because we will use Gherkin as test automation language. Okay, let's create maybe some feature for the beginning. Call it Cover.js dot feature. Let's start with a feature keyword, call it Cover.js, and let's create some scenario. I will use a source demo site to show how it works. So we will check login scenario. And let's create two steps currently, and then implement with step definition. And first step will be when I log in as, for instance, username, password. And second step will be app logo would be visible. So I created these two steps, but definitely they not implemented yet. And let's connect this classic Playwright with Playwright Runner adapter. Oh, sorry. Let's start installing the module, npm install Cover.js. All Cover.js packages are under this Cover.js organization. Playwright Runner adapter. Installing this module. And I made a mistake somewhere. installing this module. It is installed, and first we need to prepare a Cucumber config file. It similar to common usual Cucumber config file, but supports only two properties. Let's call it Cucumber TS, and those properties are required, actually pointing to files where our step definition located, and second one is a path where our feature files located. So export default and this object. And first property, let's say path. And in our case, it will be an array of feature feature. And the second where our step definition will be. So require, and let's say our step definition will be under this folder step definition slash asterisk.ts. And now we need to connect this config file to Playwright config. We can import special util function define Cucumber from package and provide config there. So here's define Cucumber, and we need to put this define Cucumber to testdir. Actually, it is a connection point. And in define Cucumber, provide option object with property config pointing to our cucumber.ts. So this actually it is connected. Let's check if it works. So it will not work because step definition is not implemented, but it at least should translate our feature files to Playwright test cases. Let's run npx playwright test -UI. It is run, and as you can see, we see feature file and one test case under the hood. If we run it, it will fail with corresponding error. And error like step I login as username password is not defined. So let's close it and implement those step definition. We define our step definition in folder step definition. Step definition. Let's create some like index ts here. And as in usual Cucumber, import when and then function from library. But unlike Cucumber, we will not import it from Cucumber/Cucumber, but from Cover.js Playwright Runner adapter. Okay, let's import when and then. It suggests me from Cucumber, but it's not true. Okay, when and then available, it's actually the same when and then as we have in Cucumber. So let's define this when login. I will use Cucumber expression. Let's copy this definition from here and replace actual parameters with this definition and define a scene function. And first parameter of this function will be this reference. Remember, we have default implementation of Cucumber world. It's like Playwright world imported from Playwright Runner adapter, and two parameters, which is username and password. Name, which is string, and password, which also string. Okay, and first what we need to do in this step is just to navigate to our system under test. In our case, remember everything available inside context, so we can write this dot page, this go to, and let's put our this source demo here. Let me check if it's our demo. Not, it is sourcedemo.com. And next we need to identify username field. So luckily, Copilot suggests me right definition, but not right step. So we cannot use page field because it's deprecated. Let's use more correct way via locator and put username here and then fill with username. Same for password. Password and parameter password. And at the end, we need to click login button. Seems like it's correct one. Okay. We implemented first step. I log in as, and let's implement second one. It will be much more easier because there is no parameters and only one element to locate. Same. I will use Cucumber expression. Let's provide a template for this. And in this step, we need to verify that app logo is visible. So Copilot correctly suggests me to identify first logo that we're going to check, this page locator app logo. And the second step, we need to verify that this logo is visible. We can do it via web-based Playwright expects. And remember, in Playwright world, we also have default expect of Playwright. So we can use await this expect logo to be visible. So, and this actually implementation of step with Playwright. Let's check how it works. So it should be in headless, so but still we can execute it. It is running. Open our site. Show me an error because I forgot to change username and password to actual ones. Give me a second, and password standard user and username standard user and password secret sauce. Okay, I changed it. And basically, as in usual Playwright test cases, it will be updated automatically. So, okay, as you can see, all steps are properly logged. We have all features of Playwright. We have like runtime screenshot, we have snapshots, we have network traces, but we can create our test cases in Gherkin language in a way we actually used it before. So it is logged. All internal actions also properly boxed into step definition. So also you can use your custom fixtures. You could use your custom expectation and so on. So this is how classic implementation of Cucumber works with this new library I created. And on second demo, I want to show how it works with CoverJS. So as I mentioned, there is a special library CoverJS Playwright that provides CoverJS experience on top of Playwright Test Runner. So here is a prepared project I made before conference, and you could see that I implemented some number of test cases, same here in the source demo. you could see that I'm using some different steps. I click, I type, I expect something, but you may notice that there is even no folder step definition, because all of this step definition already implemented and comes out of the box, which is a first benefit of Cover.js. You don't need to care about implementing support code, because most of necessary things already implemented. Also, you may notice that when I'm interacting with elements, I'm using some kind of aliases username input. So this is a part of page object implementation in Cover.js. So in reality, this username input in runtime will translate to corresponding locator here. So username input become locator hash username. So in this way, you can encapsulate your page object in this file. Actually, we have like starting point of app where we can register our components. Components may be page, may be part of a page, whatever. So you can implement some hierarchy of elements and use it across all of your test cases. So single time you define some elements on the page, and you can use it everywhere on the project. So also there is a lot more, some features. You can define elements in runtime, actually pass some verification here, pass hierarchy, as I said, use some native feature of Playwright framework, and so on. Another feature I want to show is, you may notice that when I'm opening this URL, I'm not passing hard-coded URL here, but instead I'm passing some kind of variable. So this $up literally means that we take this variable from somewhere from test data. And test data starts here in memory folder in this class data. So every property defined in this class become available across your test cases in form of these dollar variables. And additionally, you can some save data in runtime and use later in test case. Basically, for instance, save some text in one page and then verify that it's available on another, or runs form somewhere, because memory also supports basically has full-fledged support of JavaScript. You can use methods, you can use functions, whatever. And this is how Cover.js works. Let me show an example how it works in actions. I will run all these cases, and due to it works on top of Playwright, it will be executed in a second. So there is 8 test cases, but run very, very fast in parallel. And as it's on top of Playwright Runner, all screenshots, snapshots, network traces, logs, errors properly collected. So, as well as it goes to default Playwright reports and so on. Okay, I want to get back to my presentation, if possible. Okay, thank you. And here I provided a couple of links, useful links about Playwright Runner Adapter, Cover.js Playwright, document side, and also my contact information. So feel free to reach me in case of any question if you're interested in this topic. Of course, let me know in comments if it is interested. And of course, please rate this event.
Thank you, Oleksandr, for your presentation and additional thanks for a great live demo. Dear audience, if you enjoyed the talk, please scan the QR code to rate our event and give a badge to our speaker. And now we're ready to start the Q&A session. If you haven't sent us a question yet, that's a great site to do it right now. So, we do have questions, and the first one, can you please share the most project benefits from combining Playwright automation capabilities with the Cucumber behavior-driven development frameworks?
I would say the most beneficial in this combination will be that we can involve other stakeholders, as I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation. So everybody can contribute into like test automation and testing success. So starting from product owner who can define features in Gherkin languages, developers who can read those requirements and understand it in the same way as the testers. Testers itself, because it's barely ready to go test documentation, and test automation guys, of course, because it barely test automation cases becomes like that.
Thank you, thank you. And the next question, what are the benefits to switch to Playwright with Cucumber framework if Selenium is still used on the project with traditional approach to writing test cases and requirements?
Um, let's say so. Selenium may be useful for some cases, especially if we need to provide real browser testing. So because Playwright still it provide cross-browser testing, but in Playwright setup only Chrome become real browsers. But in turn, Playwright provide more convenient and more powerful API to control browsers. With Playwright, you can do things that you will never imagine with Selenium, like provide very flexible control of a browser, and in case if it required on your project, Playwright become much more useful. And of course, test runner. Test runner is something like spectacular, I would say. So especially comparing to everything what we had before.
Thank you for your answer. And the next question. Alexander, what inspired you to create a Java.js Playwright, and how does it change the collaboration between behavior-driven development and Playwright? So, what is the main inspiration behind all this?
Let's say so. I many year worked with Cucumber. I really like it. So let's say not in a way of implementing common behavior-driven approach, but more in a way of implementing keyword-driven approach. So, and Cucumber for me was a best choice. I identified a library of, for instance, some step definition and used it across many projects in a row. So, and then I created the original Kava, let's say original implementation. But at the same time, I was very uh, like when Playwright become available on the market, I really was happy to have such kind of a test runner as Playwright have. And basically, for me, it become a constraint when I need to choose use Cucumber or use Playwright. Cucumber because it's really easy to create new test cases with library of step definition I have, and other hand, I have Playwright with very convenient test runner with like capabilities to log, screenshot, traces, whatever. So that's why I decided to try to combine both of them, like best of both.
Thank you very much for an answer. Maybe a small question. Yeah. How does combining behavior-driven development with Playwright improve collaboration between technical teams and stakeholders?
Um, it actually what I meant the first question, I think. So basically, we can use the same language across all project, and every stakeholder on the project can read those test cases, because barely it's basically it's a plain English. So it product owner can read it without any specific skills. Developer, even they are working on some different tech stack, not in one that test automation cases created. Manual testers who not experienced in test automation can also read and even contribute into these test cases, and like test automation guys as well. So this is a main beneficial main benefit for me from using behavior driven. But as I said, I'm not usually implement behavior driven, but more like a mix of behavior driven and KVR driven.
Thank you. Thank you for all your answers. And thank everyone for joining us at the conference. Dear listeners, thank you for supporting this event. The presentation deck will be uploaded tomorrow on our talk page. Video recording will be available on our YouTube channel within 1 month after the conference. I'd like to invite you to the next talk tomorrow morning. We'll discuss the topic from streets to software when testing cannot be optional. Thank you. Stay tuned. Join ProQuality community in our social networks, and may your tests always be flawless.